Hello. So the main focus question that I chose for this week was what is worth teaching? And a question that I used to branch off of that was how to not let personal bias get in the way of teaching. And there were a lot of interesting things that I had figured out and that I have discovered and learned from you guys as well. But the main overall response that I had found to that question is open-mindedness. And now I know that's a vague response, but I do have little steps that we can try out to be more open-minded, especially as a teacher. So the first thing that we can do as instructors or teachers to be more open-minded and avoid personal bias when teaching is one, try it out. And what I mean by that is trying new things and taking risks. I think that teaching involves, to some degree, risk-taking. I think it's important to try new things and even to try things that maybe you're not entirely comfortable with or you don't necessarily know how it's going to turn out. And some of those risks can include new group activities that you can try on your students, or a different textbook, or a different classroom setup, or whatever it may be. It's important to take risks in some degree as an instructor, because that's how we learn progression and how we learn what works for students and what doesn't work for students. And of course we may find failure, or we probably will find failure along the process as we take risks, but that's the learning process. That's how we discover what's best for our students, is through trying new things and taking risks. And personal bias would stop us from taking those risks. So if we ever feel the urge to not try something new or not take a risk, we can evaluate and see if it's our personal bias that is stopping us from doing that. The next thing that we can do, number two, that can help us to avoid personal bias is not to assume that we know enough. That's the fun thing about teaching, is that there's always room to learn, and there's always a chance to learn something new. And I also think by learning new things and applying new principles, it allows for more progression, and it makes teaching exciting all over again. If we're constantly learning and constantly understanding the world that we live in now, then learning becomes exciting for us as the teacher, and then also for our students as well. And also understanding the what's going on in the world around us helps us to understand our students better, so that we know what struggles they may be experiencing, or what trials they may be facing at this time for their age group, or whatever it is. There's always more to learn. And then finally, when it comes to avoiding personal bias while teaching, it is important to keep the students in mind, because everything that we do as a teacher is with the students' best interest in mind. And personal bias can be a huge disadvantage for students. It could especially be difficult for those who have a hard time in school, or maybe school doesn't come easily to them. If we let go of whatever our personal bias is, we can look at the schoolwork and what we're teaching through the eyes of the students, which will help them find success. And yeah, those are my three main points. Of course, there are plenty more answers, but the three main points that I focused on, and learning to overcome personal bias with teaching, and helping us to be open-minded. Thank you so much.